Hey, what's up, guys? Randall from Odds Jam back with you on a Saturday morning. Going to take a look at Odds Jam, see what's out there this morning, see if we can find some bets that are profitable, make a little bit of money. Did want to point out, did see this earlier. If you're on Odds Jam, I mean, you obviously know you can make risk-free money. These opportunities have obviously since passed, but you can see here, I mean, just a money line play with Princeton and Columbia. If you wanted to bet that, say 200 and 140, you're going to lock up a risk-free 27 bucks. If you jump over to the middles page, here was one: Princeton -1, Columbia +2.5. If Princeton wins this game by exactly 2, you hit the +2.5 and you hit the -1. If neither of those happen, then you're still making $7. So just wanted to point those two opportunities out as we get going through this. If you have questions, feel free to throw them in the chat and I will get those answered for you. If you want to see, maybe you're in another state. I'm in Illinois, so I don't have as many sports books as some of you. So if you're watching from another state and you want to see if there's something, I don't know, maybe on Superbook or any other sports book that I don't have, Hard Rock, if you're in Arizona, just tell me. I'll switch my state and we can see what bets are out there. So went ahead. I've got the filters turned on right now. So I'm showing the best bets that are out there in the market right now with all of the historical data that we have, all of the back testing that we have done. So we'll take a look here and just see, kind of what's out there to bet. Looks like here, this is a smaller game, Chattanooga and East Tennessee State. Looks like we've got some value on Chattanooga -3.5 +100. I'm going to take a look at this and just see if, so this book's only being offered, or I'm sorry, this bet's only being offered in 3 books. So I'd like to see some more data before actually placing that bet. So that's one I'm going to actually pass on. Placed a few bets this morning already that had some good value. Louisville, Boston College, under 49.5, -110. So we can take a look at this. I mean, this looks to be a pretty good bet on MGM. So let's take a look. We'll see what's out there. So under 49.5, we can see that the market as a whole is at 48.5. I actually have a bet on Boston College in this game, but we can take the under 49.5 as well. So let me go ahead and stop sharing my screen just briefly. I'm going to go ahead and log in to MGM. MGM was super, super slow this morning. I don't know if they were having issues or if it was me, but we'll go ahead and see if we can log in. So we're logged in. Let's see if we can find this bet. We'll go ahead and bet that. Like I said, I've already got a play on Boston College. I took them +13.5. Always like a pretty low total and a decent point spread. So let's just search for this rather than try to find it. So Boston College, and that's not what I want. There we go, right there. So under 49.5. So again, we can look at this. We're getting under 49.5 -110. Pinnacle's -125 to that under. DraftKings is -130. Regular line 48.5. So we'll place that. What is it saying? It's telling us to bet 10. So we'll bet a little more than that. I had to change my calculator. I have so many bets that I placed earlier in the week that have not yet settled. They're actually not until Sunday. So a couple of the books are pretty low on funds. So need those bets to settle, hopefully in the right way, or we'll be making another deposit. Bowling Green and Akron under 50.5. Looks to be some value here again as well. -110 on BetMGM. We can take a look at this as well. Maybe, yeah. So under 50.5. If we look at this, looks like the market's at 50. So not a whole lot of value. I mean, a half a point when I look at it. So I'm probably going to pass on this one. Just shy of 1% EV. Boogie says Texas. Is Texas the play? Is that what you're Is that what you're implying? You like the Longhorns today? Let's see. See what we've got there. West Virginia and Texas. Let me know if that's what you're telling me. If Texas is the side, so it looks like Texas -8, -7.5 actually against West Virginia. I will say one thing about this game: Texas has Oklahoma on deck, so this is always traditionally a spot that Texas has struggled. You get just a classic look ahead spot, big rivalry game, Red River rivalry, Texas, Oklahoma. It's tough to take a team that's got, a big time opponent on deck, just in terms of who they're playing. So maybe Texas is the side. I don't have any real opinion, but I'll tell you what, one thing we can do is we can turn the recommended filters off and we can see if there's an EV play out there for this Texas game. So let's go ahead and take a look at that and just see. So it doesn't look like, Texas State, not seeing just Texas. Doesn't look like doesn't look like there's any EV plays in that Texas game. So looks like BetMGM is down. I was able to get into MGM and bet, but it was super, super slow earlier, which was frustrating because I was trying to line shop, which is something you always want to do on a college football Saturday. Take a look here. This was actually a game that I just personally bet. I took Connecticut today, plus the 23.5. I was trying to get -105, but MGM was down. But look at the difference in this. It's not a lot, but we've already seen it. 22.5 on FanDuel, 23 on a few of the other books, and then 23.5 on MGM. Now, this is why, it's so important to line shop because, there's no reason. If you have FanDuel only, you're stuck. You have to take 22.5 if you want Connecticut. And that could be the difference in a win and a loss. 24 is much more of a key number than I would say 23 or 23.5. But nonetheless, there's no reason to take 22.5. So if you don't have any of these sports books, in your state, I've got the links below. You can get signed up. All kinds of deposit bonuses going on with these sports books. If you have specific questions about those, reach out to me and I'll happily help you out there. Kevin with a question: is college football betting different by state? The game is played in. Some games don't have quarter bets or show up at all on Sportsbook for me, but OddsJam shows them. Yeah. So Kevin, what state are you in? If you can tell me, I'll answer your question and then I'll be able to tell you if that's why you're not seeing them. So, I'm in Illinois. So one thing with Illinois is I can't bet on Illinois teams, Illinois college teams. So that's terrible right there. So if I go to search, I was hoping I could search on DraftKings, but if I go to search for Illinois, there's nothing that's going to pop up for me because we're not allowed to bet on Illinois teams. So you're in New York. Yeah. So I know New York, with their new kind of tax laws, they have changed some things. It's very possible that some of those games, quarter bets, you don't have access to just based on New York law. And even some of the games, like some of these sports books will not offer these FCS games. Some of them will. And again, it just kind of depends on your state. Like I said, I know New Jersey, they can't bet on Rutgers, can't bet on Seton Hall, not necessarily bet on them, but just cannot bet on games that they're involved in. So it varies by state, but yeah, some of those plays that might be showing up quarters, that would be why. It's just based on state law, which is, unfortunate. So go ahead. We'll jump back over to the EV page. Keep questions coming. If you've got any questions about NFL for tomorrow, college football today, happy to answer those for you. Let's go ahead. We'll turn the recommended filters back on. One thing I always like to do is just continue to refresh this page. You always want to be refreshing this data. It's constantly changing. You're constantly going to see new bets popping up. Yeah, you're exactly right. We cannot bet on Illinois college games. Although actually, if you wanted to bet on an Illinois game, you could go to the sports book and bet on an Illinois college game. That is one thing that you actually can do. But I'm not making the trip to East St. Louis to bet on DraftKings. So this play here, we actually bet this last night. We put it in a parlay with James Madison over their point total. It was, I think, over 50.5. So minus 143 there on points bet. I think it was minus 143 on MGM last night as well, maybe minus 142. So looks like there's some value on this MMA fight. I mean, I have no idea who either of these people are, but I do have them in a parlay. And that's the beauty of EB betting. I mean, you don't have to know anything about sports. You don't have to know anything. Just you look at the numbers, you look at the market, you find where you're getting value, and you bet it. This looks like a pretty good play. Jalen Hurts over 1.5 passing touchdowns. You can get that at plus 100 on points bet. I mean, I really like that. I like the Eagles tomorrow in this spot. I think that getting a lot of love for Jacksonville. I think there's a little value still on the Eagles, which is a team that's been, really, really hyped up. Any college same game parlay for today. Hey, shoot me a couple of games that you want to look at. If you have any games that you want to look, and we'll go to this. We'll turn the recommended filters off, and we'll search by a couple of games if you want me to see if there's anything out there that you could build to make a same game parlay. I know some states allow player props, but I don't know. Let's just say we wanted to look at Alabama maybe. Let's see if there's anything in this Alabama game. So, I mean, as of right now, it doesn't look like anything. I'm assuming that bet is on DraftKings, but let me know if there's a game that you want to specifically look at. I will tell you, if you're looking to build like a college football same game parlay, I mean, what you can do is, you can type whatever game you want to look at. I mean, if it's a specific game, okay, Arkansas, Bama, perfect. So let's go ahead and look at it. So how can you build a same game parlay to where, it's actually profitable? So one thing you can do is what I like to do is I like to just look for the best odds on DraftKings, for whatever it is. So in looking at this, I mean, right here, at least on these three markets, DraftKings doesn't have the best odds for any of these three markets. But, if we wanted to look at like first quarter money line, so like this would be a good leg. So Pearlington Way, just to answer your same game parlay and how we could build one. So like this would be a good first leg. Bama money line first quarter minus 265, because it's the best line that's out there in comparison to all of the books. First half money line, same thing, minus 500. I'm going to guess that you probably can't correlate that. You can't go first quarter money line, first half money line. But I mean, if you can, again, that's a good bet because, again, you're getting minus 500. That's the best line that you can get out there. First half total points. You can see, let's find those odds. So it looks like, so this would actually be a pretty good one too. If you value, say a half a point, trying to see here. So over 31 might not be a bad play. I mean, it's minus 120, but the 31.5 is minus 110. So it depends if you value a half a point as being worth, 10 cents. Although I guess you could make a case that the under might be a solid play, but that's what you can do. I mean, you can just, you're basically coming here and you're looking to see where you can find the best odds, on whatever sports book you have. So, this is pretty close, under 21.5 for Arkansas, minus 115, over 39.5 for Bama, minus 115. But again, you're looking, it looks like the rest of the market is maybe juiced this to the under. They've maybe juiced Arkansas to the under. So maybe Arkansas team total under would be another leg. I know we've put a couple that have some heavy juice. So just trying to look at that. But again, you can come through here and just see what you can find, and just, shop the odds, make sure you're getting the best number. Is the FanDuel Boost odds boost solid? I'm not sure what that is. Let's take a look and see what the FanDuel Boost is. If you don't see it, let me know what it is, because I'm actually not. Is it this Colin Cowherd one, I assume? Let me know. Jake, if that's the one that you're referring to. TCU plus 7.5, Utah minus 9.5, Oklahoma State versus Baylor over 50.5, and Georgia to win. If that's the play you're talking about, I think Georgia definitely to win is solid. I do like Utah minus 9.5. Actually, the other two, don't really have a feel. Again, what you can do is go back over to OddsJam and just see, TCU, Oklahoma, that line's 7.5. So, if you're, that's not the one. Let me know which one you're referring to. Hold on. Let me log in real quick, see if another boost pops up. Michigan, Bama, Florida State to win by 7+. Okay. So let's take a look at that. And then I know you guys have some other questions, so I'll get those answered here. So just bear with me. Always appreciate you guys tuning in, bringing questions. There it is right there. Okay. So I see what you're saying. So Michigan, Florida State, and Bama each to win by 7+. So, Bama is, what you can do is, you can just look. So Bama, we were just there. So Bama point spread. So if you wanted to take Bama minus 7, you'd have to lay 335 on Bet Rivers. What was the other one? Florida State and Michigan. And Michigan, I know, is like a 10-point favorite. So that would be pretty good. Basically what you would want to do is you would want to, parlay these together at whatever they're giving you and see if that makes sense for those odds. So, minus 335, we can take a look at Michigan. Florida State would be the one that worries me, because I think that line is right around 7, but Michigan's 10.5. So you're definitely getting some value on Michigan. You could look at the alternate line, see what that is. And then let's see what Florida State is. I think Florida State's probably laying 6.5, 7. So that one's probably good. That's going to be the one that, if it loses, I would say would be the leg. But I would say, just looking at it at a glance without going too far into the math, I would say you're definitely getting some value here. In terms of, was plus 250, now plus 350. So definitely value there for sure, in taking this. Alabama, especially, they're a 17-point fave. Michigan, you're getting basically 3.5 points of value. And then Florida State, you'd actually be taking a worse number. But I will say Wake Forest, coming off of that kind of let down where they lost against Clemson, that's probably a bad, not a bad sign, but it's not a good thing. You never want to lose a heartbreaker like that. Could definitely come out flat this week, but I don't trust Florida State. So North Carolina versus Clemson. You want to take a look at that game? We can definitely do that. Can see if there's any value in North Carolina State and Clemson. Here's the search bar. This is something else that I love on OddsJam. You just search the game, takes you right to it. You don't have to scroll through, don't have to look at anything. So this game's interesting because this line actually opened Clemson minus 10. So, in my opinion, if you're going to bet this game, if you're taking North Carolina State at 6.5 or even 7, it's a horrible bet, win or lose. And I say that because you could have had 10 at the opener. Now, in my opinion, there's some value here on Clemson minus 6.5. You look at this, you can see you can get minus 110 on MGM. The other books are at 7, even money, very slightly juiced. But the thing is, the reason you're paying a premium on North Carolina State is because you're buying the hook, you're getting a key number of 7. So if Clemson wins by 7, then obviously you push if you took North Carolina State. But to me, just based on the opener of Clemson -10. If you're planning to take North Carolina State, again, win or lose, it's a horrible bet because you could have had 10. So now the value to me is all on Clemson at -6.5. My personal opinion, I think North Carolina State's a little bit overrated. We saw what they did week 1 against East Carolina. It wasn't pretty. Probably should have lost that game. Now, granted, it was the first game of the year. But again, if you're taking NC State today, it's a bad bet. So hopefully that kind of helps answer your question. Keep the questions coming, guys. Comments. Love engaging with you. So UNC -9 play of the day. Let's see. I don't even know who North Carolina has this week. Probably should. Virginia Tech. So yeah, I mean, North Carolina's coming off that bad loss against Notre Dame, I believe, from last week where they looked pathetic. Let's see if that was correct. North Carolina versus Notre Dame. I think that's what happened. I guess it wasn't pathetic, but 45-32. I mean, they didn't look good, to say the least. So yeah, I mean, can't disagree with you there. I mean, -9, you can see we can get -107 at PointsBet. So definitely a little value there on the heels. I would agree with you there. Line's 9.5 at most of the other books. So yeah, I mean, you're getting a little value, by taking it at 9. So from a mathematical standpoint, I mean, I would say that that's definitely a decent bet. I mean, you're not like beating the VIG by any means because you're still laying more than what the no VIG odds would be, but you are getting a little bit of value at taking it at -107. So yeah, Jake, we got you looked at that parlay. So yeah, just take a look at that a little more and see what those other books have. You can probably get that at BetRivers or Barstool just to compare all of those alternate lines. I know they offer them quite a bit. West Virginia, Texas. So we talked about this game a little bit ago. We'll take a look at it again though. But this was a game I mentioned that, I mean, Texas has Oklahoma on deck. So potential look ahead spot for Texas. Texas, I believe, was it last week coming off the loss to Texas Tech. So, I mean, obviously want to get going back in the right direction. Man, I mean, this game's tough. If you're betting it, you're not getting really any value in terms of, what kind of price you're paying on Texas, 7.5. I will say, like I said, with Oklahoma on deck, I would totally avoid this game. I mean, I would lean more towards the Mountaineers. But when I look at this spot also, I mean, they are giving you the hook to kind of entice you to maybe take West Virginia. So maybe Texas is the play. But that's one thing in college football. I always try to shy away from those look ahead spots. I mean, last week, I took Vanderbilt against Alabama, which was a terrible bet, but Bama had Arkansas on deck, and I thought, maybe a little bit of a look ahead spot there, but it didn't matter. I mean, Vandy's just horrible, and Bama's not a team that looks ahead. So, hey, Tim, how's it going? Good morning to you as well. I know I've talked to you quite a bit, so hope you're doing well, and good luck this Saturday on your bets. Yeah, I mean, you could always use those books for in-state college betting if you wanted to do that. So let's go ahead and take a look. I've looked at, or I was typing in Alabama trying to find some same game parlay value. So let's just take a look here, one last look, and then I'm gonna call it a day here and go up and watch some college football and see what's out there. So turning on the recommended filters, we'll refresh our page and let's see what is out there. If you got any other questions, feel free to get those in before I wrap this live stream up. We talked about that Virginia Tech, North Carolina game. Somebody said Carolina -9 was a great play. Looks like the first half total is a really good play as well. Over 27.5 points. We can look at that a little bit more and see. See what's out there. So over 27.5 points looks like the market's at. Looks like that's pretty well where the market is. Over 28 at Caesars, but they're not allowing you to buy points on this first half total, so it's kind of hard to gauge. But you're definitely getting a little value. I mean, points bets at 28.5. I mean, this realistically is probably 28 or nothing. Not the score, but just it lands on 28 or maybe 31, 35. So 27.5 probably doesn't really matter there. Michigan, Iowa under 21.5 in the first half. Kind of like that. Minus 112. You're getting the hook on the key number of 21. I mean, my biggest question would be, 21 and all of these other books. DraftKings has got it juiced to the over. I mean, this is going to come down to two things. Can Iowa stop? Just mainly one thing. Can Iowa stop Michigan? Because Iowa's not going to score. We know that. DraftKings actually juiced to the under minus 120. I mean, Iowa's not going to stop. Iowa is not going to score. So it's going to come down to can they stop Michigan? And looking at this, I mean, this is some decent value. Under 21.5. We'll go ahead and bet that because I do like that. You're getting the hook. You're getting a little bit of value there. And this is also Michigan's first road game. So I think there's something to be said for that. Just in terms of, how do they come out on the road in their first game? It's always a tough thing to go on the road. So we better get this in, though. It's telling us to bet 15 based on our Kelly here. So we'll go ahead and bet this. This game is starting within literally a minute. So we need to get that in immediately. So we've got that in. We'll go ahead and jump back over here, see if there's anything else. TCU plus a half in the first half. Let's see. Anything else? Any other questions? Feel free to get those in, and I'll answer them here. Otherwise, probably going to wrap this stream up. We'll do one last refresh here of the page and see what is out there. So we got this under 21.5. I really do like that play. Bowling Green and Akron under 50.5. We looked at that earlier, but there wasn't really a whole lot of value. I think it was a half a point from kind of the main line. Kentucky, Ole Miss, we're late here, but this looks like a good play over 54 as well. If you have Caesars pulled up, I don't, so not going to be able to get that in. But over 54, this actually looks like a decent play. I mean, over 54.5, juice to the over at a couple of books. Maybe it should be closer to 55. So you'd be getting about a point of value there. So I'm going to go ahead and call it. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Follow me on Twitter if you want to see when I'm going live. I always tweet it out. I'll probably go live a little later on this evening. We'll see if there's anything out there for the NFL. We can talk some NFL as well. But as always, appreciate you guys tuning in. I did release a video this morning. If you go check it out, two profitable bets. And then I've got the anytime touchdown score video out as well that you can see on the OddsJam YouTube channel. So good luck with your bets today, guys, and I will see you later.